The limits of life. Why death became an evolutionary necessity. In Greek mythology, Tithonus, a prince of Troy, was loved by Eos, the goddess of dawn. She begged Zeus to grant her companion immortality, but she forgot to ask for eternal youth, so Tithonus gained eternal life, yet could not stop the ravages of aging. He lived forever, yet grew forever old. Eventually, he was abandoned in solitude, yearning for a death that would never come. This ancient myth precisely mirrors the dilemma of humanity today. Medical science continues to extend our lifespans, but has yet to halt the process of aging. Death seems to have become a cruel joke, while aging itself has become the more sorrowful reality. This forces us to ask, from a biological perspective, why does death exist at all? And can humanity ever hope to transcend this boundary? The clock of life. The inner limits of the cell. The aging of the human body stems from two factors. Internal factors are the senescence and programmed death of cells, while external factors are environmental damage accumulated over time. An organism's lifespan is fundamentally determined by the division and differentiation capacity of its stem cells. If cells could divide indefinitely, life could theoretically achieve immortality. Prokaryotes do exactly this through self-cloning. Bacteria like E. coli can achieve a form of immortality, only perishing when faced with an external threat, but this precisely reveals the fatal flaw of immortality. Imagine facing 100 genetically identical opponents, each as strong as an ox. Then you discover they all have a severe pollen allergy. A single bouquet could bring the entire army to its knees. This is the essential defect of clonal life. When every individual shares the exact same genes, a single vulnerability can lead to the extinction of the entire population when the environment changes. The evolutionary significance of death. For nearly 2 billion years, immortal prokaryotes dominated the Earth. Then, more complex eukaryotes emerged. Humans, as members of the eukaryotic domain, effectively chose death in our evolutionary journey, forsaking immortality. From an evolutionary biology standpoint, death makes space for new generations. Through the constant turnover of individuals, a species' gene pool is refreshed, allowing it to better adapt to environmental shifts. Those organisms that clung to immortality either went extinct during Earth's many catastrophic changes, or were relegated to the bottom of the food chain. Our cells even evolved specific mechanisms to ensure death occurs, telomeres. These structures at the ends of our chromosomes determine the upper limit of cell division. A telomere's length is set from the moment of an individual's birth, genetically limiting the long-term existence of our cells. Scientific exploration, from cloning to stem cells. In 1997, the birth of Dolly the cloned sheep sparked fantasies of human immortality. Scientists imagined that when an organ aged, a fresh one could be transplanted from a cloned copy with no risk of rejection, since it came from the person's own cells. But reality delivered a harsh blow. Dolly died at just 6 years old, while a typical sheep can live to 12. The reason? Dolly's original cell came from a 6-year-old ewe. Cloning is an exact copy, so Dolly was biologically 6 years old at birth. The length of her telomeres determined from the start that she could not live a full lifespan. Since then, despite continued breakthroughs in cloning technology, cloning itself cannot solve the fundamental problem of limited cell division. A more promising direction comes from stem cell research. The work of Japanese scientist Shinya Yamanaka on induced pluripotent stem cells earned recognition from the Nobel Prize. If stem cell technology can be fully mastered, it might one day break through the limits of cell division, opening new pathways to extending the human lifespan. Reflections from an evolutionary perspective. From an individual's point of view, the pursuit of immortality seems a natural desire, but from a biological perspective, sacrificing the individual to ensure the continuation of the species is a far more meaningful evolutionary strategy. We eukaryotes evolved sexual reproduction from single-celled origins precisely so that offspring would not completely inherit the weaknesses of their parents, maintaining adaptability in a changing world. Our cells even evolved telomeres specifically to ensure individual death. This is the unique superpower that eukaryotes gained over the long course of evolution. Looking back at the myth of Tithonus from this angle, perhaps death itself is not the enemy, but the necessary condition for life to constantly renew itself, and for species to endure. Understanding this, we might face the limits of life with greater equanimity, while maintaining a cautious optimism in our scientific explorations.